I've been asked to do a presentation on food and mood. My friend and colleague Terry Hill did an exceptional presentation using research-based evidence. I want to approach it in a different way. When a patient is admitted to an environment that is totally alien to them, it's so important to maintain a level of normality. Let me put it to you, how would you rather start the day? With a cup of tea or coffee or the alternative? Medication! One of the most pleasing activities on Mulberry 2 for patients and staff is the preparation and cooking a homely meal. Unfortunately, we live in a culture where cooked chilled food is the delicacy on offer to patients, an option that is often bland and sometimes unsavoury. We've attempted to jazz it up by trying to create a 4-week menu in order to offer more variety and lower the boredom threshold. What has happened is that the packaging is prettier, but essentially the product remains the same. Patient experience often indicates there's dissatisfaction with the product, one that is both costly and with large overheads. We have patients from all cultures and backgrounds who are able to cook and take pleasure in providing a meal for peers and staff. It is a time to come together and enjoy a home-cooked meal. It is one of the most normal activities to sit and eat together. It lifts the spirit and warms the belly, and for that brief period of time, patients and staff can focus on simply that, not mental illness, not them and us. I would advocate this as our approach to food and mood. It's a time for heart-to-hearts and debate, a time for idle chit-chat and laughter. Far better, I think, than tearing open a packet of booby mash. Thank you.
So in the north, we did a similar sort of theme. We looked at food, we looked at the relationship between that we could have on the wards. We went for the name, I think Andy Burrows, our comms guy, came up with Ready, Steady, Care, and we kind of went with that. So one of the healthcare assistants on Oak 1 was very keen and involved. Ready, Steady, and then the context. Our governance. We were constantly getting poor feedback on the wards about the quality of the food. You know, as Tracy's spoken about, the cook chill, the way it's presented, the patient's engagement in that is quite minimal. The initial activity, we did one activity. We decided to do a slow cooker meal on the ward. Dave, our occupational therapist, who is trained in food hygiene, was present. So that we were able to cook together, make sure it was hygienically done. It was then cooked on the ward, and then we all were able to eat it together in the evening. It had really good feedback, really positive result from the patients, and that's where the healthcare assistant and myself came up with the idea of doing it on a more long-term basis. In terms of proactive care, our desire was to think differently, to create a positive headspace, to make big, bold changes. When we'd been having bad feedback about food for probably at that point about 3 or 4 years and had made minimal steps to improve it. Commitment, no matter how the ward was, we said we would cook and prepare 3 slow cooker meals a week. It wasn't always possible to have it done on the ward. I think probably about 5 or 6 times we've had to have it in a locked room. But that's quite minimal compared to we've been doing it now for over a year. We put out an appeal for pantry goods. We had a massive donation from all sorts of staff. People were dropping in potatoes. Dave, ROT, does an allotment group. They were dropping off fruit and veg quite regularly to us. A lot of staff dropped in rosemary from their gardens, tins that they had in their cupboards. We had support from the modern matron Sharon. And the results, the proof really was in the pudding. So this was our ward. We decorated it so it looked nice and enjoyable place to be. As Tracy said, staff and patients all eat together. It's a really good environment, a really good space to all be. A patient said, even if I'm not hungry, the atmosphere is worth joining the table for. Being able to prepare my own meal is enjoyable and satisfying. And then just to finish, there's a couple of other quotes from patients. It's a family affair. It's like Christmas 3 times a week. Food on the ward is perfect because we make it ourselves, and that makes me feel better. Eating together, bringing us in the same place, laughing, sharing stories and food has been such a positive experience. It's warming when I see people cooking. When you feel unsociable, you can be there safely with no pressure. And I think that basically you know, that's the reason why we've been doing it on the north and the south wards, and we will continue to do it and train staff. So staff are now trained actually in food hygiene, so the onus isn't just on the OT, but the ward staff are taking ownership for that. And that's the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.